Thank you so much, Magnanimous Milky. And the rest of the analyst desk, I am happy to be bringing you another final between SGB and GAM. I remember the last one we cast your way. It was a 3-0, but one of the most tragic 3-0s of all time.
No, 3-1, 3-1. Okay, put some respect on Buffalo's name.
Well, that was even more while it was tragic, because they should have won game 2.
Yep, they were 10k gold up at 18 minutes. And yeah, nowadays people just remember Misfits against G2, but Saigon Buffalo did it last year in a final. They were on path to 2-0. They were stomping GAM in the first 2 games, and then they completely squandered their lead. They lost the next 3 games, and GAM, once again, won another title. But Saigon Buffalo, they have always been an exciting team, and here we are in another best of 5 between these 2 teams. I'm so excited. This is going to be a bloodbath from start to finish, I expect. Yesterday I took a look at the group stage games of GAM against Saigon Buffalo in the C over at the C games, and while we had a great best of 3 between these 2 teams in the VCS, in the C games it was a mess. They just met in mid lane for 20 minutes in every game and just fought. Yeah, non-stop basically, just back and forth, A-ramming till one side won. So
well, based on my experience in solo queue, that's the correct way to play.
Oh God, I hate you.
Maybe I should get out of silver at some point. Oh my! But what do you think about this bot lane situation where Zeri got through so far in the draft? I know you have thoughts about this champion.
So yesterday,
she's cracked up to be?
Yesterday when I looked at this bot lane, I thought, okay, bot lane is gonna decide the series. This is my most important matchup of the whole map, and I felt that Style had a distinct advantage, not so much when it comes to play on the map, but when it comes to champion pool. He has the Senna, you always have to be wary of his Senna, also enabled speed to a great deal, but he also plays a much better Zeri than Shogun. And yes, Shogun against Artemis, against Cerberus, when those 2 teams played against each other, Shogun and Artemis both just lost on the Zeri, but Style actually had some good games as Kati needs to flash away.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they want to let him go. BJ takes him low, but not down.
That was super close. We saw Druktha actually threading the needle there with a W in one of the games where he tried an early mid gank on the Viego. So this seems to be an established strategy in the VCS Scrim meta. Always flash W into the mid lane early on. Not quite successful from BJ here, still puts a lot of pressure on Kati. Already draws out his teleport, so we can expect Froggy to dictate some of the next few minutes in the laning phase.
B, landing a lot of damage in onto Taki. They've ignited him. He's burning, saved by a heal. But God, B gets the party started.
Really nice counterpunch there from B, reading what Taki had in his arsenal and just using the W, the grand entrance, when the Alistar was exposed. Also, Alistar running Glacial, of course, means in the early game, before he has access to his ultimate, if you wait out the initial engage, he is quite squishy. So Taki overstepping a little bit in this support matchup. I think it's time to talk about these 2 players, because these are 2 of the most exciting players in the league, and we say this a lot about support players here, because actually the level of support players has risen so much since we started casting this league. But Taki against B...
I remember back in the day.
Taki against B is probably, together with Rono P, these 3 on the running for best support. And right now, B is this cut above everyone else. In my opinion, the best player in the VCS right now. And he just brings everything to the table. He has all the champs.
But your way, I listen to the VCS English community, and the only person they ever talk about is Taki.
Well, Taki is a super exciting young player, prospect, young rookie. And he's still a good player, right? But to me, he feels a little bit too consigned to his own favorite champions. He feels like he plays too much Alistar and just doesn't really... He had some ins as well on Nautilus, if I remember correctly, where he just... Against the Tom Kench, against Palette, was in a game where he just completely misread the engage. And these kind of mistakes happen too often this year, in my opinion. So for now, Taki back to maybe A tier. Pushed down from S tier, where I had him last spring, as one of the best players and the most exciting rookie together with BJ. He's still a very good player, but B, a little bit more sophisticated. He can play all the styles, he can play all the champions, and find engages from whatever position he's in.
BJ, having a look down towards the bottom lane, isn't going to find anything, but GAM are also searching on the top. Husband with a good flash away, actually dodged all of the CC. He's got the fancy feet. He gets away here your way. That is unbelievably good play by Husband.
How did you dodge that Q? That looked on my screen like it did. Wow. That's very, very slim now. Working out there on the top lane and transforming back into his slim form as well in time. BJ has smite, so he should not have any trouble taking this dragon. So this is a super positive play for Saigon Buffalo, especially because Levi also invested his flash. So flash for flash, and in the end you don't die. That is great result for Saigon Buffalo. They get the first dragon, and they have bot control now too, with the jungler hovering around the bot side. So everything going Saigon Buffalo's way.
That was worth for Saigon, even if Husmed dies. I think if Husmed dies, but Levi flashes, you know, Cardi has to do a long roam, it's still fine. But he doesn't even die. That's huge.
Yeah, and especially with all lanes now in an advantage. Look at the CS numbers. Everyone is 10 CS roundabout ahead. Okay, bot lane. I actually misread that. No, bot lane is actually better for Style and B right now. But the other two lanes, the solo lanes, doing well for Saigon Buffalo. And their jungler got the first dragon. We also have a little bit of a disjointed flash timer now on the junglers, which means BJ, if you look at him, his flash is gonna be available. He's also going to be level 6 very soon. But
your way, just by the way, you have the graphic over the scoreboard. I just noticed on screen. As we continue on, Froggy in trouble. Oh no, the stream. Oh god, they do this time warp a lot these days. It's annoying. Don't know what's going on, but there is going to be a play momentarily. Apologies about the graphic. That's our fault. Thanks for pointing it out, Panda. As, yeah, we do see the engage coming in from Cardi. They lock down onto Froggy. Can they actually get the damage in? The Gravity Well's doing really good work as Froggy now kiting away. Has to dodge B. Can't do it. First Blood will go over the side of GAM.
Shogun.
Back immediately. But look at the damage that Star can put out. It's not actually enough whatsoever. And here comes SGB. They steal the Galio body. They use it well. And BJ gets 2.
Huge overextension for GAM into the enemy jungle. We just pointed out the levels for BJ and his flash. He didn't even use the flash in the end, but you cannot chase onto Froggy when he has flash and ultimate available at this point. Why? Okay, that's just to push the wave. That was very confusing to me, but let's look at this again. So Froggy has everything ready, and the initial catch from Carti is good, right? They push him down to half HP, but he gets so far away, actually waits. This is so smart from Froggy too. He waits for Levi's Q to connect and flashes afterwards, and yes, he's down to 200 HP, actually dies to B, but this forces GAM to overextend so far into the enemy territory that they can just counterpunch and get back on them. That's 2 kills, 3 kills even, 3 kills over to Saigon Buffalo, just because Froggy had the patience to wait for his flash. And now Carti.
Carti's in trouble. The Jinx rocket will go very wide, fired probably from base, but yeah, that's a flash away, forced there by Carti. And I just want to point out as well, GAM got the first blood, but it went on to B. So really, everything possible going right there for SGB, as Style will pick up a plate. Not able to be punished at the moment.
Style is now the main hope for GAM, together with Kiaya maybe. But Kiaya is struggling over in the top lane. Of course, blind pick the Camille, got counter pick by Husmet, something that SGB definitely puts a lot of draft resources into, trying to counter pick top lane for Husmet. He performs amazingly on these counter picks. Last time he had the opportunity to counter pick Kiaya, he gave us the 10-0 Vayne game. So this is certainly a strategy we have to keep in mind in the next few drafts. But for now, it's a pretty boring matchup over here. Just 2 top lane mainstays fighting against each other, and they're not going to be the biggest impact. They're not going to have the biggest impact. Apologies. For now, just farming away. But Husmet seems to be controlling the pace of the top lane, and if Levi invests even more time up here and Husmet is able to just run away like the first time, it's gonna be really, really good for Saigon Buffalo.
Yeah, he does go into the mini, doesn't have access to the E quite yet, it's very far away. He should be dead, but after what happened last time, I'm not going to count until he gets actually taken down. But with the investment of the Hextech Ultimatum, there really is no outplay. That will be the kill.
But is it even a good play? Look at the mid lane. Everyone is already funneling into the mid lane. 2 platings probably for Saigon Buffalo. That should still be net positive for GAM.
Not quite 2. Oh, the Herald will come in as well.
Now this is actually quite a good counter play for Saigon Buffalo because it brings the mid tower so low, and you have to consider Kati is also in a pretty weak spot right now. He's almost 20 CS down, or more than 20 CS actually, to Froggy of all people, and Froggy is controlling the pace of the mid lane, so if you ever push Kati out of the mid lane here, you can just take the tower for free. It's only on one plating, 4 minutes left on the last plating, so you can even just wait for 4 minutes, use the next herald to break the mid tower. That opens up so many mid-game rotations, so I really like this counterplay from Saigon Buffalo, not over-investing into trying to maybe save Hosmid over there. They just said, okay, Hosmid, unfortunately you die to the Galio roam, but that's fine, because we invest so much gold into our mid-jungle, and now Froggy and BJ super far ahead, especially of Kati.
And you're right, I want to see is, oh, never mind, never get a chance to bring it up, is there will be another kill being picked up onto BJ. That's a big one. But I want to seize on something you said a little bit ago before we had our flurry of action, in that, Style looking like he might be one of the last hopes for this team. That's so different to the GAM we know and love, right? And I think they've been doing this in the VCS proper as well. They're playing through their bot lane. They've often had fantastic supports and supports that change the map. But their ADCs are normally just Levi pats them on the shoulder and says, good luck, mate. See you in 40 minutes. What's brought about this change and is it working? Oh, well, they really don't like Husband.
Well, no ultimate for Kiaya. They can't kill him here.
Yeah, he gets away. He's fine.
Well,
no punish.
They did get the dragon on the other side, so Saigon Buffalo, because they lost their jungler, can't really do anything. But look at Kati. Kati is so weak!
They're going under tower. Yeah, because Froggy's coming on in. He TP's up. Kiaya moving forward. We'll trade the 1-for-1. If Froggy can pick up this kill, it's absolutely huge. It's a double for Victor.
And look at this mid gap.
He has his full ult.
Froggy is just completely running over Kati in this first game. This is something Saigon Buffalo fans didn't really dream of in the winter split, when Froggy had probably his worst split in a long time. But he's back on form and Kati is not. So we actually see Froggy be the better and more consistent mid laner. Great counter roam, and I'm not entirely sure why Kati even tried to chase into here, because Kiaya had no ultimate, so there's no way you ever kill the Gnar. That has flash up as well. And in the end, Kiaya really wanted the kill, but gives another over to Froggy, and you need to remember, it's not only a late game hyper carry kind of mage, it's also Victor who gets 25 stacks from every single kill, so trading 1-for-1 with Victor is always bad for you. He's now sitting super safe in the mid lane, 2-1 and 2, with the crown completed already, so very hard to kill, and can just shove Kati out of lane all the time.
Style does continue to get pumped up as he'll pick up a few plates. Levi, they are investing so much in shutting Husmed down. I just don't think it's the right decision.
Yeah, and I actually want to come back to your point, because unfortunately the top lane point interrupted your very nice setup about Style. But yeah, Style, the weird thing about GAM is they have been tending to play around bot lane for a year now, but not around their bot laner, just around the lane, which is weird to say. But yeah, they usually the kills go over to Levi and to Kati, maybe even Kiaya, not so much to Style.
Kati flash.
Scary.
Levi. Getting a little bit hyphy here, but he does have team coming. Taki with a huge play to deny B. Goes under the tower, has the ultimate. Froggy turns gold. He's fairly tanky with that crown, but it's already been
beautiful.
Popped. Froggy's in a lot of trouble. This is some lovely play, though, with that W. They lock them down for as long as they possibly can, but it's not long enough your way. GAM come out on top.
What a collapse from GAM from the bot lane. They were here much, much faster than Saigon Buffalo's bot lane was able to react, and they Saigon Buffalo overstep in the mid lane. GAM finally gets a foothold back into the game. They're still behind. Their mid lane situation is still quite bad, especially because Froggy, yeah, he died, but he's still scaling up nicely. But now a kill went over to Style, and the magic might be starting from Style. He has had a Zeri game with 13 or 14 kills, I believe, and he certainly knows how to carry on this champion. So let's take another look. BJ is pushed out of the fight already, so they're missing one of their huge assets for team fights, and this is just beautifully done from B. Once again sets up a scene for success. I also really like how Taki flash Qs 2 members under tower. Not quite enough to kill them, but if there's one more member, if the Jinx is closer, or Hasmet even is a little bit closer, Taki probably turns the fight around. So our earlier focus on the two supports pays off in this fight, as both of them look amazing. And both of these are on champions that can carry teamfights every single time. So all eyes on B and Taki for the next engagement.
Yeah, 100%. That was support MVP play into support MVP play into support MVP play in that fight, coming out of both of them. So I'm really happy that we chose to put a bit of focus onto them. Supports on every broadcast that's not the LEC do get a little bit undervalued. The LEC balances out the rest of the world, of course.
True.
I'm joking. I do love
at Levi. He's
very
trying to find
deep.
an angle. So yeah, Shogun has flash, so yeah, and Taki's also playing bodyguard. Look at Taki just mirroring Shogun's every movement just to stay on top of him and just play the bodyguard. I love when Alistair's actually play defensively as well. He's a great engage champion, one of the greatest engagers in the game, but he's also also has very good peel in his arsenal. So in this case, he probably needs to peel away the Camille and the Lee Sin more often than he has to engage on Stahl, because Stahl, I mean, if you lock him down and insta-kill him, it's really nice for you, and especially if Binja can then take over Stahl's body and continue the fight. But usually it's better for you to just play front to back and protect the Victor Jinx, because more often than not, they are going to carry you in those prolonged team fights.
I think it's very difficult to play front to back against this GAM comp, though. This GAM, what front? What front? Their front is on your back, surely, with a Galio, a Lee Sin, and a Camille. I don't think GAM will be wanting to opt into that. If SGB can force them into it, fantastic. But I think that may well be the breaking point.
But if you flip that coin, it's also super hard for GAM to actually find a way into this compact formation for Saigon Buffalo. Look at Taki constantly hovering on the edge and just waiting for anyone to look for an engagement. He's ready to strike and W them away. So Taki's just constantly on the edge and guarding everyone, marking the scary opponents. So this is just very good front-to-back positioning from Saigon Buffalo. And yeah, GAM doesn't really want to opt into just one frontline, one backline kind of team fight. They want to flank, but if Taki's there to cover the flanks, and if your vision setup is good enough, then Saigon Buffalo just wins by default by having more range.
Oh, the vision though, speaking of it.
Taki got
Levi and Kiaya. But Taki's not who you want to tag. The Everfrost finds nothing.
Oh, Kiaya, what? Okay.
Whoa. Just really wants to start the fight. Froggy's in a bit of trouble. He'll just go down pretty much immediately. Huzmed in the fight now. Shogun will get that first one with the rocket powering on forward. BJ steals a soul. It's the Lee Sin. Doesn't want to surf back in. It's 2-for-1 in the favor of GAM. That came out of nowhere.
And they actually found the way away from Taki. Taki was just occupied with Levi and Kati, but there's even more. There's Camille on the other side as well, and this time Camille is basically on a suicide mission for the rest of the game. She knows she's not strong enough to really win the game through. Yeah, it is a one-way trip every single time. So she's now the main engage of the team, and Camille engage is kind of hard to play against, because as soon as she gets that invincible frame of her ultimate, you can't do anything against her. And this time Alistair was not close enough to headbutt her out of her own ultimate, so immediately the Kati follow-up came in. Shogun actually stayed alive, but Froggy died in this case. So let's take another look at this one. Yeah, you can see Taki is too far away. He tried to play against Levi and against Galio, but then Camille came from the other side. Yeah, and Shogun... Well, if Shogun has like one or two more items, he might be able to actually turn this fight here and just constantly fire away at the opponents and pop off. So in the end, the fight didn't go too badly for Saigon Buffalo. They actually walked away with the Dragon 2. So even though Kiaya found a miracle engage, in the end, you almost got away with an even fight. So if the fight is a little bit better set up for Saigon Buffalo, I still fancy their chances in this game.
Oh, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be calling anything. You say you fancy their chances. Truly a bold call when they are ahead in gold. It might not feel like it after that play, but this is a very, very close game, and I wouldn't have it any other way. These are two of the teams we think could be topping our league. GAM is definitely the team we think is topping the league. But Saigon Buffalo not that far behind, so I'm glad it's close between them. I want this to be a hard-fought battle. Your way, I want 5 games.
Oh, for sure. And I actually think I didn't officially predict anything, but yesterday I thought about this series a lot, and actually ended up thinking this is probably going to go to 5. I think I leaned GAM, just edged out GAM in the end, 3-2, I think, but...
Hard not to.
Yeah, it's really hard to overlook GAM, especially with the bot lane diversity, but this composition, even as an opener, sometimes we see teams, BJ needs to be careful, open up with a little bit of a risky composition, because if you win on the risky composition, then the opponent team has nothing to answer back. But if you lose on the risky composition, you can just say, okay, let's play a little bit more standard. I think this composition is lacking a little bit of the win condition, especially with Kiaya getting behind. It's basically style, please carry us. And he is in a good position to do so, as Shogun is completely out of position.
Yeah, they popped the crown and they immediately called for the fight here. GAM with that killer instinct that we know and love. They picked up one, they picked up two. BJ heartbreaks over the wall, but the rest of SGB are getting routed. Husmed, he's just a Gnar. He can't do anything. Taki gets sent to the slaughterhouse, and GAM found their opening.
What is SGB doing? So scattered across the map. B might be dying for his sins. That was a little too deep, yeah?
Oh. This is turn. This is now a Viego reset.
Yeah, they lack the DPS to really follow up, especially with Saya, with Hasma turning back into mini Gnar. So in the end, this might prevent the Baron from falling. So overstep for GAM in the end, but still a one team fight, and they close the gold gap. It's very, very even, and Shogun needs to step up. I mean, Froggy was also out of position. Not entirely sure what Froggy was doing over there. He just cut off from any entrance, but... I think the more egregious mistake was Shogun just walking too close to any walls and getting singled out by Kati, of all people, who's so far behind. So if you trade Kati's tools for the life of Shogun, you've won the fight already. You can also see Style playing a little bit of a Kai'Sa-like team fight. Not so much front to back, which Zeri can really excel in as well. More Kai'Sa-like, as in... You try to assassinate the enemy ADC and then go from there, utilize your E to jump over walls and find different angles. So definitely more of an assassin, Zeri. And she's now 4-0. Meanwhile, Kiaya, having a pretty bad early game against Hasmed, now sitting on 4-1 as well. So the two most scary opponents are getting stronger and stronger with every fight.
And the one thing that I want to identify here is that GAM, very clearly, the eye of Sauron that we call Levi, has pivoted to focus solely on Froggy. Because the first big collapse that he used the gravity field, I'm not even 100% sure what it was for, he just put it down, and they went, bang, it's down, go! And they used everything, they killed him, they won the fight. In that one, he just got hit by I think it was a Galio, wouldn't have been Galio, he got hit by a random spell, popped his crown, bang, go now. The second Froggy makes even the tiniest mistake and is vulnerable, they will use everything to kill him.
Yeah, and this also from the other side, we need to see Froggy playing a little bit more respectfully. This is not his usual style of champion. Usually he plays the Akalis, even Jonas, like all these melee champs that are more they themselves actually say where the fight is gonna start, and they really form the battlefield. Maybe don't have the consistent damage of Victor, but much more agency. So it seems like he's a little bit uncomfortable with his positioning in teamfights, as he has to take a step back, think about the teamfight positioning, and then strike from a backline position, which is really not what we associate with Froggy. He had a great early game, an amazing laning phase, especially for all the criticism that is always levied at him, but he needs to also perform in teamfights, because in the end, that is Victor's role.
They're trying to catch the recall here, but I don't think they have the damage.
Zeri is pretty far away.
And this is, yeah, they are off a reset, but it's still a 3-item Zeri. This is so risky here, SGB. I think this decides the game. He already taken low, taken out the Baron, is secured, but can SGB actually do anything with it, or do they just get completely cleaned up? It's a good Gnar there out of Husmed, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough. Kiaya focused out. Shogun will get excited, but it doesn't matter when Kati just comes in and shuts him down. That's going to be so many kills taking over to GAM. Only 2 members of SGB will walk away. And your way, I just don't think it's worth it.
It was a super risky call. In the end, they might actually come out okay from this one, even though they gave up more kills and are going to give up another tower to Style and B. So not gold positive, but taking away the Baron from the map will give them a little bit of time to scale, get to a few more items, because the enemy team has nothing to do now. Dragon is not really in the game as a win condition, as we see so much visual noise, it's really hard to spot what's actually going on. GAM basically win the fight, even though B isn't even here to start. Yeah, and it's just Shogun not dealing the damage to get through the tank line, or more bruiserish line, I guess. He's just not there right now. So maybe in the next fight, if he has 1 or 2 more items under his belt, he might be able to one-shot Kiaya and then move to Kati, and then it's getting scary for GAM again. So I don't actually think this is gonna be detrimental for SGB's chances to win the game. But I have to question their team fighting, though. They are consistently losing team fights.
The thing that worries me is actually it's a decision-making thing. Because if I'm SGB and I'm looking at the comps, I don't want to be the one on Baron being encroached on.
That's true.
I want to be the one encroaching on Baron. So I don't know why you would invite the team and go, oh, you're a team with amazing dive. Here, we'll stand in a Baron pit. You would much, much rather doing the opposite where
Oh. Hello? I think Carrick's hit the wrong button or something.
I think Carrick's might have died, so I think I'll jump in with you. You'll wait until Carrick's does make his return.
I'm back. My Discord decided to restart. Apologies.
We have a huge engage on Hasmid, and Hasmid is completely caught out on the side. He might just go down.
Yep, Hasmid has gone down. I am back in, so there is a turnaround here. The rocket comes in. Shogun picking up a kill onto Levi, so decent trade.
I mean, they still lost 2 towers, though. Or 1 tower, rather, in the mid lane. So, in the end, it's still a good map situation for GAM. They are moving closer and closer to their first victory in the series. And SGB really needs to overcome this, maybe their arch nemesis, that is GAM in the mid game. It seems like they can never win team fights in the mid game against GAM. We teased the game. They were 10k gold ahead at 18 minutes in the finals in Spring Split, right? And what happened in team fights in the mid game? They overstepped, they overchased, and GAM got the game back from them. So Saigon Buffalo, they looked amazing in team fights against Cerberus of all teams, who we consider to be the strongest, or at least one of the strongest team fighting teams. But now against GAM, against this weird, quirky composition from GAM, they're just completely lost so far. And they're not out of the game, they're only 2k down. The items are coming in, 3 items now for Shogun, 3 items finished for Froggy, even though the items he has chosen to complete don't really offer that much damage. But maybe he can be the utility bot for Shogun to carry later on. Hasmid is getting stronger, Beanjay is getting there as well, so they definitely still have the tools in their arsenal to win this game, but they need to win a team fight. Just one to get the confidence back and then go from there.
I am a little bit concerned with this Pacifist Victor build, because that is low damage, to say the least. But I definitely think this game's got some legs still in it. But we need to see SGB. You can't beat GAM without incredibly good teamfight execution. You just can't. It doesn't matter. You could have the biggest draft gap in the world. You could get ahead in lane. If you don't teamfight properly, they beat you. So SGB, time to teamfight properly.
And one of my favorite terms to talk about in GAM games is individual agency. It's something they always bring, especially when they are on top form. And look at this composition. Every single member has CC, has some way to get into the backline, to start a fight, to end a fight. This is prime GAM. GAM is not the team that plays front-to-back teamfights with perfect, compact positioning. They are actually the team that loses to the best front-to-back teamfighting teams consistently. If you think historically, 2020, Cerberus. Flash, best team fighting team, they lost to them twice. Cerberus last split, exactly, best team fighting team, best ADC, they lost to them in the team fight. So this is, GAM team fighting is much more about individual agency and individual playmaking, and they are excelling at this, and the enemy team needs to be so disciplined to deal with this, because in the end, there's a reason why front-to-back team fighting is the premier style of team fighting, because if you can isolate the enemy targets, enemy champions going for individual goals, then you win as a collective. But it's so hard to actually do when everyone is posing such a huge threat.
It is very, very difficult. Look, I don't know if there's a man alive who is not a little bit frightened by the prospect of Kiaya Camille and Kati Galio. The fact that they could appear in your face at any moment your way is enough to wake anyone in sweats. At SGB, they bounce back from that Baron fumble.
Oh,
See
no.
where they actually go. It's a collapse onto Husmed. BJ, don't try and save
BJ,
him.
what did you just...
BJ with the power it. There's no other way to put it. Husmed may well get out of it, so maybe BJ died so Husmed can survive, but I don't know if that's worth it.
Okay, oh no, Shogun now gets engaged on Kiaya, and this might be the end of the game.
Yeah, this is a disaster. I don't... Okay.
Well... Saigon Buffalo completely lost their way of playing this game. Unfortunately, the last 10 minutes have shown us the GAM is still the better team fighting team, which gives me worries for the rest of the series. But Saigon Buffalo played in a close early game, so maybe if they just think a little bit more about their team fighting in the next game, maybe draft something different for Froggy, it might go differently. But now BJ and Froggy are the last two survivors.
Yeah, they can't access the wave to try and cut it. BJ buys a little bit of time, does manage to actually get away. The respawns are coming in. GAM will be held. The game continues your way.
The game is not over, technically. The Nexus is still here. But can Saigon Buffalo get anything? There's the Baron on the map. If they chase GAM here and get the Baron, that could be way back into the game. Right now, the super minion wave is already coming in, though. I think Saigon Buffalo has to go for this. Or they have to go for this Baron. Teleport's ready for Kiaya, but not for Kati. Let's see what happens here. Levi's full HP too.
Looking at this, I'm just filled with dread and the memory of far too many Levi steals. Shogun, I think, was too far away. I don't think they can do it.
Look at Beast positioning too. He's not spotted on the top side. He can get a huge ultimate.
Yeah. The quickness is going to be absolutely massive. He is spotted now. They try and turn around onto him, but it's just gone so badly. Taki immediately blown up. Husmed with a massive nah, but it just doesn't matter when no one else is there your way. The Buffalo have been hunted to extinction, and it is GAM that reigns supreme as they clean up the clean 5-4-0 ace, and they will be 1-0 in our final.
A decent attempt from Saigon Buffalo. They had to go for the objective. It was their last way to get into the game, so I don't blame them for this. It looks bad in the end because it's a 5-0. But honestly, if you just incrementally lose more and more map control after giving up the next Baron and the Dragon, its soul coming up, you lose the game anyway, so I definitely don't fault them for this one.